1. Wake up with purpose instead of excuses. The city was still asleep. The streets were silent, the sky dark, and the world seemed frozen in time. A young man lay in bed staring at the ceiling as his alarm echoed through the room. Like every morning, a voice inside his mind whispered, "Stay here. 5 more minutes won't matter." The bed felt warm. The room felt cold. Comfort was inviting him to surrender. Yet another voice emerged, quieter but stronger. It reminded him of the person he wanted to become. It reminded him that every great life is built through small daily victories. The battle was not against the alarm clock. The battle was against himself. Marcus Aurelius faced this same struggle nearly 2,000 years ago. Despite being emperor of Rome, he often had to remind himself why he should rise from bed. He understood a truth that many people ignore. Success is not created during moments of inspiration. It is created during moments of resistance. Every time you choose discipline over comfort, you strengthen your character. Every time you act despite not feeling like it, you become stronger. Most people wait for motivation. The Stoic rises regardless of motivation. The young man finally stood up. Nothing dramatic happened. No music played. No crowd applauded. Yet something important changed inside him. He had won the first battle of the day. That victory created momentum. He felt more confident because he had proven that his actions were stronger than his feelings. Day after day, this habit transformed him. He became dependable. He became disciplined. He became someone who trusted himself. And there is nothing more attractive than a person whose confidence comes from self-mastery rather than external validation. 2. Spend time in silence before speaking to the world. After rising from bed, the young man noticed a habit he shared with millions of people. His hand automatically reached for his phone. Notifications waited for him. Messages demanded attention. Social media invited him to compare his life with everyone else's. For years, he started every morning this way. Before thinking his own thoughts, he allowed the world to think for him. One morning, he decided to do something different. He sat quietly in a chair beside the window. No phone. No music. No distractions. Just silence. At first, the silence felt uncomfortable. His mind raced with worries, plans, and unfinished conversations. But as the minutes passed, something remarkable happened. The noise inside his mind began to settle. For the first time in a long while, he could hear his own thoughts clearly. The Stoics valued silence because it creates self-awareness. Most people spend their lives reacting. They react to news, opinions, criticism, and circumstances. They rarely pause long enough to examine their own minds. Silence creates that opportunity. It teaches you to observe your thoughts instead of becoming controlled by them. It helps you recognize which worries deserve attention and which should be ignored. As weeks passed, the young man noticed a change. He became calmer during stressful situations. He listened more carefully. He spoke with greater purpose. People began to respect his opinions because he no longer talked simply to fill empty space. His words carried weight. His confidence no longer came from being the loudest person in the room. It came from being the most composed. True attraction often begins with presence, and presence is born in silence. 3. Train your body before the day trains you. One cold morning, the young man stood outside before sunrise. The air was sharp against his skin. Every part of him wanted to return indoors. Instead, he started running. His legs felt heavy. His lungs burned. Each step required effort. Yet he continued moving forward. The Stoics believed that voluntary discomfort strengthens the mind. They understood that avoiding all hardship creates weakness. Physical training is not merely about muscles or appearance. It is about learning how to remain committed when things become difficult. Every workout becomes a lesson in resilience. Every drop of sweat becomes evidence that growth requires effort. At first, the young man focused only on physical results. He wanted to look better. But over time, he discovered something more valuable. Exercise changed his mindset. He became more disciplined in other areas of life. He procrastinated less. He handled challenges better. He developed greater emotional control. The strength he built in his body slowly strengthened his character as well. People noticed the difference. His posture improved. His energy increased. His confidence became more natural. Yet the most important transformation was invisible. He no longer feared discomfort. He understood that growth often hides behind difficulty. This realization changed everything. Attractive people are not attractive because life is easy for them. They are attractive because they have learned how to endure challenges without losing their composure. Every morning he trained, he sent a message to himself. I can do hard things. That belief followed him into every conversation, every opportunity, and every obstacle. Over time, it became part of who he was. And that quiet strength was far more attractive than any physical feature could ever be. 4. Practice gratitude before seeking more. As the young man continued his journey of self-improvement, he noticed a strange pattern in his life. Every time he achieved something he once desired, happiness would only last for a short period. When he bought something new, excitement faded quickly. When he reached a goal, another goal immediately replaced it. His mind was constantly focused on what was missing rather than what was already present. One morning, he came across a teaching from Marcus Aurelius. The emperor advised himself to appreciate what he already possessed, and imagine what life would be like without it. This idea changed everything. Instead of waking up and thinking about what he lacked, the young man began each day listing things he was grateful for. His health. His family. The opportunity to learn. The chance to wake up and experience another day. At first, this practice seemed simple. Yet over time, it transformed his perspective. He realized that many things he now took for granted were once things he desperately wished for. Gratitude shifted his attention away from scarcity and toward abundance. Instead of feeling deprived, he felt fortunate. Instead of feeling desperate, he felt content. People are naturally drawn to individuals who appreciate life. A grateful person radiates calmness and confidence because they are not constantly chasing validation. They are not consumed by envy or resentment. They understand that happiness is not found in possessing everything but in appreciating what already exists. The young man noticed that his relationships improved as well. He became more patient. He became more present. He stopped comparing himself to others and focused on becoming the best version of himself. This inner peace made him more attractive than any achievement ever could. Gratitude gave him something many people spend their lives searching for, a sense of fulfillment that could not be taken away by external circumstances. Every morning, before seeking more from life, he learned to appreciate what life had already given him. That simple discipline created a strength that many people never develop. It reminded him that true wealth begins in the mind long before it appears in the world. 5. Visualize challenges before they arrive. Most people start their day expecting everything to go smoothly. They assume others will cooperate, plans will succeed, and circumstances will unfold exactly as they hope. When reality proves otherwise, frustration quickly takes over. A delayed appointment ruins their mood. A rude comment destroys their confidence. A small setback becomes a major emotional crisis. The Stoics approached life differently. Each morning, the young man began preparing himself for difficulties before they occurred. He imagined that someone might criticize him. He imagined that plans could fail. He imagined unexpected obstacles appearing throughout the day. This was not pessimism. It was preparation. Seneca taught that those who prepare for hardship suffer less when hardship arrives. The young man soon discovered the truth of this wisdom. When challenges appeared, he was no longer shocked. He had already accepted the possibility. Instead of reacting emotionally, he responded calmly. One afternoon, a project he had worked on for weeks collapsed unexpectedly. Months earlier, such an event would have filled him with anger and disappointment. But now he remembered his morning reflection. He had already considered the possibility that things might not go according to plan. As a result, he adapted quickly and moved forward. This ability to remain calm under pressure made a powerful impression on others. While many people became overwhelmed by setbacks, he remained steady. He became someone others trusted during difficult situations. They looked to him for reassurance because he had learned how to manage adversity without panic. True confidence is not believing that nothing bad will happen. True confidence is knowing that you can handle whatever happens. The Stoics understood this principle deeply. By mentally preparing for challenges each morning, they reduced fear and increased resilience. The young man eventually realized that obstacles were not interruptions to life. Obstacles were part of life. Once he accepted this truth, he stopped wasting energy resisting reality. Instead, he focused on responding wisely. That mindset became one of his greatest strengths. And strength, especially calm strength, is always attractive. 6. Read wisdom before consuming entertainment. One morning, the young man noticed something troubling. Before he had even left his bed, he had already spent 30 minutes scrolling through endless content. News headlines, videos, arguments, and opinions flooded his mind. Yet despite consuming so much information, he felt mentally exhausted and strangely empty. That day he decided to replace scrolling with reading. Instead of opening social media, he opened a book containing the teachings of Epictetus. The experience felt completely different. Rather than distracting his mind, the words challenged it. Rather than stimulating temporary emotions, they encouraged reflection and growth. The Stoics believed that the mind should be nourished just as carefully as the body. A person who exercises daily but neglects wisdom develops physical strength without direction. A person who cultivates wisdom develops both strength and purpose. The young man committed to reading every morning, even if only for a few minutes. Day after day, those small moments accumulated. He learned how to manage anger. He learned how to remain calm during uncertainty. He learned how to focus on what he could control and release what he could not. Months later, he noticed a remarkable change. His conversations became more meaningful. His decisions became wiser. His confidence became less dependent on circumstances because it was rooted in understanding rather than emotion. Many people spend hours consuming entertainment yet never invest time developing their minds. As a result, they remain vulnerable to every trend, every opinion, and every distraction. The Stoics understood that wisdom creates freedom. It allows you to think independently instead of simply following the crowd. People are often attracted to intelligence, but they are even more attracted to wisdom. Wisdom creates depth. It creates perspective. It creates the ability to navigate life's challenges with grace and understanding. Every morning the young man chose growth over distraction. Over time, that choice transformed him into someone who possessed not only knowledge but insight. And insight is a quality that never goes unnoticed. 7. Set clear intentions for the day. As his discipline grew, the young man discovered another problem affecting many people. Most individuals wake up without direction. They allow circumstances, moods, and other people to determine how their day unfolds. As a result, they spend their lives reacting rather than leading. The Stoics believed that each day should begin with intention. Every morning before starting his responsibilities, the young man asked himself a simple question. What kind of person do I want to be today? Some days he chose patience. Other days he chose courage. Sometimes he focused on discipline. Other times he focused on kindness. Regardless of the specific virtue, he made a conscious decision about how he would conduct himself. This practice gave his day structure and purpose. When difficult situations arose, he returned to his chosen intention. If he had committed to patience, he practiced patience during frustration. If he had committed to courage, he acted courageously despite fear. Over time, this habit strengthened his character. Instead of being controlled by circumstances, he became guided by principles. His behavior became more consistent. His values became clearer. People naturally trust individuals who know who they are. There is something attractive about someone whose actions align with their beliefs. Such people create a sense of stability because they are not constantly changing based on external pressures. The young man learned that success is not simply about achieving goals. It is about becoming the kind of person capable of achieving those goals. Every morning intention helped shape that person. 8. Stop seeking immediate validation. For years, the young man's mood depended heavily on other people. Compliments made him happy. Criticism ruined his day. Approval boosted his confidence. Rejection destroyed it. Then he encountered one of the most powerful Stoic lessons of all. Epictetus taught that if you seek peace, you must stop placing your worth in the hands of others. The young man realized that every time he checked for approval, he surrendered control over his emotions. His happiness became dependent on factors he could not control. Determined to change, he began each morning without seeking validation. He stopped measuring his value through likes, comments, and opinions. Instead, he focused on living according to his principles. At first, the transition felt uncomfortable. Human beings naturally desire acceptance. But over time, he experienced a new kind of freedom. He no longer felt compelled to impress everyone. He no longer feared criticism as much as before. His confidence became internal rather than external. Ironically, this made him more attractive. People are drawn to authenticity. They respect individuals who remain true to themselves regardless of public opinion. Genuine confidence cannot be manufactured because it comes from self-respect rather than applause. The young man discovered that the less he chased approval, the more comfortable he became with himself. And comfort with oneself is one of the rarest forms of strength in today's world. 9. Do the hardest task first. The young man once spent entire days avoiding important work. He would complete easy tasks, organize small details, and stay busy while ignoring what truly mattered. The Stoics would have recognized this behavior immediately. It was not productivity. It was avoidance disguised as activity. To overcome this habit, he adopted a simple morning discipline. Every day, he identified the most difficult and important task before doing anything else. At first, it felt uncomfortable. Difficult tasks always do. But something remarkable happened. Once the hardest responsibility was completed, everything else became easier. His stress decreased. His confidence increased. His productivity improved dramatically. The Stoics taught that courage is developed through action. Every time you face difficulty directly instead of avoiding it, you strengthen your character. You prove to yourself that discomfort does not control you. People admire those who handle responsibilities effectively. Reliability creates trust. Discipline creates respect. Both qualities contribute to genuine attraction. The young man gradually became known as someone who followed through. He no longer made excuses. He no longer postponed challenges. He addressed them directly. This habit transformed not only his mornings but his entire life. 10. Remember that time is limited. One morning, the young man read a passage from Marcus Aurelius that struck him deeply. It reminded him that life is short, and that every day brings him closer to the end of his journey. Rather than creating fear, this thought created clarity. He realized how much time he had wasted worrying about insignificant things. Arguments, comparisons, validation, temporary distractions. None of these mattered as much as he once believed. The Stoics practiced remembering mortality because it helped them focus on what was truly important. When you understand that time is limited, you stop postponing meaningful action. You stop waiting for the perfect moment. You stop assuming there will always be another opportunity. The young man began approaching each morning differently. He treated every day as a gift rather than an entitlement. He became more present with loved ones. He worked harder on meaningful goals. He appreciated ordinary moments that he once ignored. This awareness changed his entire presence. He became calmer, wiser, and more focused. People sensed that he valued life deeply. They respected his priorities because they reflected purpose rather than impulse. In the end, the greatest Stoic lesson was not about attraction at all. It was about living well. And yet those who live with purpose, discipline, gratitude, courage, wisdom, authenticity, and awareness often become the most attractive people in any room. Because true attraction is not created by appearance. It is created by character. If you enjoyed these Stoic lessons, subscribe to Stoic Philosophy Hub, like this video, and join our growing community dedicated to wisdom, discipline, and inner strength. Together, we can build a life guided by purpose rather than distraction. See you in the next lesson.